Over the past 2.5 years, I have been developing my art skills while also building up my own art business. Hi everyone, I'm Jen, and I am a self-employed artist illustrator, and today I want to talk about 5 things that I think are super useful and helpful to know if you are wanting to pursue a similar path. Getting started is the most important step towards achieving your goals, and I know it's scary and a little intimidating, but my best advice is to just do it. I don't think you should wait until the moment when everything seems perfect or when you feel like you know everything that you need to know, because that moment will not come. The one thing that I would do differently for myself and my business if I could reverse time would be to start sooner. I spent a lot of time just thinking about working on my art skills, developing a style, and coming up with a business plan. But thinking about it is not the same as taking action. I felt that my art wasn't as good as it could be, and I had no idea what it took to create a business. But honestly, once I got started, I felt even more motivated and determined to learn and get better at those things that were keeping me from starting. There will never be a perfect time to start, and there will always be something that you can learn or improve on. And even after doing a bunch of research and making a perfect plan, there will still be things that you don't even know that you don't know. So, just get started and be open to learning as you go. There are plenty of online resources available to you to aid and help you as you learn as you go. And one of my favorites is actually the sponsors of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with an extensive library of classes for creatives just like you and me. So whether you want to learn the basics of Procreate, how to edit your video content, or how to start your own creative business, Skillshare has a class to take you from beginner to pro alongside a very supportive community. In the past year, I've made a bigger effort to share more about me, my art, and my overall experience with my business on social media. And the class that really helped me get an understanding on making that possible was Social Media for Creatives: 5 Exercises to Power Your Freelance Career by Andy J. Pizza. It was incredibly insightful and provided me with enough knowledge and encouragement to take steps and make some progress towards my goals. So, if you want to check out Skillshare for yourself, I highly recommend it. And the first 500 people to use my link will get a whole month free trial of Skillshare. So, you can get started watching their classes today for free. And to help you get started, I've actually put together a list of classes that I've personally taken that I think are super helpful for building up your art skills and for growing a creative business. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. If you want to be a self-employed artist, a small business owner, an art content creator, or anything in between, it's important to have a plan to help you figure out how you're going to get there. Being self-employed or being freelance means that you will hold sole responsibility over everything that you do. You'll decide what projects to do, you'll decide your deadlines, you'll decide who you want to work with. There are so many decisions to be made, and so creating a plan will help you get some direction on how to achieve your goals and become the artist that you want to be. I've made a whole video breaking down what my initial plan was for getting started as a self-employed artist and small business owner, which I'll link for you down below. But I found that having a plan can really help you build a solid foundation, or at least give you some insight on what can work as you take your actions. As time has gone by and as I've continued to grow my business and further develop my art skills, I've continued to plan out my steps, take actions on those steps, and then plan out what's next. It's a cycle that I think can help you progress and grow closer to where you want to be. Once you have your plan and you're making your first moves and things are finally happening, it is very easy to get caught up in the super fun and exciting times, like when you reach a new milestone or when you start making your first sales. And that is very good and also very natural, as this is probably something that you're really passionate about and have dreamt of doing. So when things start to slow down or there are slight dips in the growth, it can feel a little discouraging. So that's why I think it is very important to know going in that there will be ups and downs throughout your journey. Growth is not linear, and that is to be expected. It's easy to be happy when we have a good month and our sales are high or our posts are getting a lot of attention and people are engaging with our art. But when we experience any low, it can feel very disheartening, and then we start to compare ourselves to those extreme highs and often fail to take a step back and look at the larger picture. By getting a broader view of our progress, it's actually easier to see what is happening. Oftentimes, things are just leveling out, which is normal, especially after you experience a surge in growth. This is something that I've been trying to work on because it is very easy to get all wrapped up in all of the analytics and the numbers. It's exciting to see that I'm reaching a larger audience and that my shop is experiencing a spike in traffic. But when things go back to a normal pace, I feel like I'm taking a step backwards. But when I instead take a look at the whole picture and see what my position is relative to where I started, I can see that I'm actually doing pretty good. It can be difficult to detach these feelings because at the center of all of this is our art. For many of us, art has probably been a long time hobby, passion, and interest, and sometimes our art is deeply personal to us. But just remember that our art does not have to appeal to everyone out there. There are people out there who will resonate with you and what you create, so you really have to make an effort to remind yourself that these analytics and numbers should not be a reflection of whether what you do is good. Things take time, and you're going to have to be very patient. Growing a business and being self-employed takes time to build up. It takes time to build up your reputation and to create a system that works. So, if this is something that you truly want to pursue, it's probably going to take years to develop. So, when you're wondering whether this is something that you want to pursue, you need to be thinking of this as a long-term goal. Everyone's timing is very different, and everyone will reach milestones at different pacings. So, it's important to focus on your progress and be realistic with your goal setting. For instance, when I opened my shop back in March 2022, I think I had no more than 2,000 followers across all platforms, and so I knew that sales in the beginning would be very few. And in my whole first year, I had just over a dozen sales, and obviously that is not enough to rely on. But I knew that going in, and that was my expectation. Now, in my shop's second year, I took what I learned from the past and have used those lessons to keep going and have a better year. When first starting out, it's important to keep your expectations realistic and understand what is actually possible. You're going to be new to a lot of things, and it's going to take time to get good at those things. So keep your goals humble, and as you figure things out as you go, you can start to go bigger. You will make mistakes, and not everything will go exactly as planned or expected. You will encounter challenges and a handful of hardships, and you'll inevitably have rough days, but that is all okay. Just because things can be hard doesn't mean that it's not going to work out or that you made a bad decision. It just means that you're experiencing things for the first time. It's normal, and it happens to all of us. I've learned plenty from my research and looking at various resources, but I've also learned so much from experience. Even the bad experiences can teach us so much, so don't let a mistake here or there discourage you from your plans. Every mistake or challenge has a resolution, and by accepting that, I think you can go so much farther. So, if you have been interested in pursuing some kind of creative art path and journey, I hope that the things that I've discussed today have been useful and helpful in giving you some insight on how to get started. I wish any of you who are thinking of pursuing this type of path the best of luck, and I believe in you, and I'm so proud of you for taking the first steps to get there. I appreciate you all for watching, and I hope that you have an amazing day and week ahead of you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!